How will Peter Parker cope when another ghost from his past re-enters his life? Well, let's hop into the pages of Amazing Spider-Man issue number 15 and find out for ourselves, shall we? Alrighty then, so picking up on a story thread from the previous issue, Billy Connors, the Lizard's son, is still fighting with his dad about being forced to live in a sewer when he wants to go outside and do normal kid things. It's also heavily implied that maybe the reason he's been so hard on his dad recently is that Billy actually has a girlfriend who now wants to meet him. Let us also not forget that the only reason Billy died in the first place and had to be cloned as a crazy lizard monster was because his dad ate him. You know, Nick Spencer's great with continuity. I'm shocked he hasn't brought this up yet. Now back over with Spider-Man, he's still dealing with Black Ant and Taskmaster's attempted kidnapping of the Rhino. Their fight had spilled on over into a fancy restaurant where Aunt May just so happened to be eating, and now Spider-Man is faced with one hell of a Sophie's choice. Does he save Rhino, who was doing nothing wrong and actually helping him fight the other bad guys? Or does he let Alexei be taken and try and save his aunt and all the other people trapped inside the crumbling restaurant? I think it's pretty obvious that he ends up picking the latter, but this is all really heartbreaking for Rhino, who, if you've been reading the Miles Spider-Man book, has actually been going down the path of righteousness. He even helped Miles and Captain America with a case, and now a superhero that he trusted and believed in is turning his back on him. Ooh, in the words of Prince Zuko, that's rough, buddy. Peter is ultimately quite impressed after digging through the rubble to realize that his aunt didn't really need saving. In fact, she was working on trying to save other people, proving that Parkers are heroes through and through regardless of the situation. The only person May was unable to get out, though, was the homeless guy that she was sharing a meal with, a dude who in the previous issue said that he was a journalist. Fans had speculated that this dude was probably Ned Leeds, and indeed, when Spider-Man pulls him from the rubble, he sees that this is actually Ned Leeds, or to be more exact, the clone of Ned Leeds created by the Jackal. This leads to actually probably my favorite page in the entire issue, where they actually reuse and update a bunch of old famous issues of Ned Leeds, including the time that he was unmasked as the Hobgoblin. Whole long story. And then the damnedest thing happens. After just returning into Spider-Man's life, this Ned Leeds dies all over again. With his last words, though, he does invoke the name of Betty Brant, the woman he had loved in life, and he hopes that Spider-Man will take care of her now that he's gone again. This actually ends up sparking a heck of a charitable streak in Aunt May that has been dormant for a bit. She pays for this dude's funeral, having only known him for a couple hours, and then she decides that she wants to reactivate the Feast Foundation. If you played the brand new Spider-Man game just recently, you'll probably be very familiar with Feast and what it does. Well, this was a Dan Slott invention back in the day and operated much like in the comics as it did in the game. You have to wonder too that if Aunt May wanting to do this now probably has something to do with the revelation that she had cancer over in the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man book, and she wants to make the most of the time she has left. Now, as the comic begins to wind down, we see what became of Rhino. Black Ant and Taskmaster take him back to Kraven the Hunter and Arcade. It would seem that Kraven is trying to gather as many animal-themed supervillains as he can. And considering if you name an animal, Spider-Man probably has a villain that dresses up like it, it's turning into one heck of a who's who. But that's not all Kraven wants. He also gets Arcade to reactivate Red Ghost's old SHIELD program. You'll remember that from Secret Empire. It's what Hydra used to trap the heroes out in space. Arcade assumes Kraven wants this so no one will interrupt his hunt back in Africa, only to be told, oh no, I'm going to activate it in New York City. This is where I'll have the greatest hunt of all time. And so that was Amazing Spider-Man issue number 15, everybody. And you know, I think the word filler is thrown around a little too much and a little too freely these days, but yeah, this issue and indeed this whole 2-issue arc felt a lot like filler. I'm not really sure what the point of reintroducing Ned Leeds only to kill him off again was, perhaps if only to cross him off the list of people who could be the strange blue centipede. I can respect Aunt May getting her status quo changed up in a meaningful way, but we don't know how much longer she's going to be around for, or if this storyline is even going to be dealt with here in the Amazing book or Friendly Neighborhood or any other Spider-Man book. On the upside, though, I am getting excited for the Hunted storyline. I like the idea of having Kraven the Hunter resituated as an actual legitimate threat again. Ultimately, though, at the end of the day, I'd only feel comfortable giving this one a 6 out of 10. You could probably skip it and you wouldn't miss a thing. Hey there, everyone. It's your old pal Cave Joel, and I want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out some of this other comic content I have available for you. Then you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Cave Joel, so you're always up to speed on what I'm doing next. And hey, if you're in the market for some comic books for yourself, might I recommend buying your trades through my book depository link down in the description. Not only will you save a bundle by not having to pay anything for shipping or handling, but everything you buy via via my link goes to support me in the channel. So you win, I win, everybody wins, right? And until next time, I will be back again with more comic content that smacks of greatness. Bye-bye, everybody.